Hi, this is Brian Stack from Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Welcome to ShowbizMonkeys.com.
Around this town, I'm alright. Around this town, I'm alright. I mean, no consequence when you playing with the fire. Move to the left, man. No fuss.
Okay, so I'm here with Sam Easton. We're at the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, just preparing for things. So first of all, welcome. Thanks for talking to Showbiz Monkeys today.
ShowbizMonkeys.com, what's happening?
Well, I just want to start off, I guess, at the beginning with your comedy career. When you first got into comedy, what made you want to get on stage, and did you have a lot of influences that kind of pushed you that way?
No, when I started, I had a friend who passed away when I was 15, and we used to smoke joints and watch stand-up comedy, and he would say that I was funnier than these guys, and I never thought about it twice. It never crossed my mind to actually do it. It was just a nice thing for him to say, really. But then when he passed away, we did like a ceremony for him, and I tried my first stand-up routine in honor of him. So I didn't really have influences when I first started my first few shows, but as I started studying comedy and learning about comedy, that's when the influences come in. And then you go in levels as you become less and less ignorant, sort of. So I guess the most influential comic in my career would definitely be Irwin Barker. I was lucky enough to become close friends with him. I opened for him exclusively for a couple of years, and to this day, he's the best writer and best comic I've ever seen.
You're here at the Comedy Festival performing a reading of the play Incongruous, written by Bruce Clark. Can you tell people about that play and what it's about and what people can expect if they come down and see it?
Definitely. It's a real exciting piece of art that we're doing. It's a three-handed play. There's three characters. There's the young comic who's fresh and doesn't know what he's doing. The older, wiser comic who, although he's smart and a stronger comic than the others, he's never hit. He's never made it. And then there's the ethnic comic who's become a huge star. And through these three characters, the principles of Irwin Barker's comedy come through. So the older comic isn't Irwin. There is no Irwin in it, but we're all sort of vehicles that allow Irwin's sensibility and understanding of comedy and joke writing, and we are vehicles to share that with the audience. It's the most in-depth view of what it's like to be a comic, and how to write jokes, and how to get yourself on a TV show, and how to showcase. All the points are covered in this play.
So people coming down to see it, you're doing 3 shows as part of the Comedy Festival.
Yes.
If anyone is coming to see it, should they expect a mix of like some dramatic moments and some laughter, or is it
definitely, because that's what it's like being a comic. Mm-hmm. Being a comic, it's a horrifying world we've chosen. If I had known, I started I started my first stand routines in maybe 95, 96, 97. I started doing it full time in 99. If I had known how messed up and difficult my life would have been, I would never have gone into stand-up comedy. I would never choose this on my worst enemy. If my children wanted to do stand-up, I would be very upset. I don't have any children right now, but just the roller coaster ride is being unbelievable. So in this play, you get to see the highs and lows, because that's what it is. In stand-up, we have wonderful highs and excruciating lows. And the most difficult thing in our business is to be able to balance that. Be able to balance the success with the failure, and you're going to have far more failure than you have success. So when you're having the success, you can't get too high. When you're when you're failing, you can't get too low. You got to keep this even keel, and all those points are covered in the play.
So this play is kind of breaking new ground for the Winnipeg Comedy Festival. Do you think this is something that more festivals should maybe look into doing?
It's a good question. Well, stand-up as a skill set, as a medium, is the hardest thing to do in sort of the entertainment field. And then when you have a skill to be able to go on stage by yourself and just create laughs, you get so caught up in just working by yourself that you forget what it's like to be in a team, be in a group, be in a play. And a lot of us comics have never done anything like it. So when we get the opportunity to step out of the stand-up medium into a different medium, it's very exciting. And all comics would agree that it's a welcome break. Like when we do the debaters for CBC, it's such a joy to write material that's not your stand-up and to go on stage and get laughs with it. Being a part of a play is extremely exciting. It's exciting to be in a team and be creating something different. And when people see this play, when comics see this play, I think it will give them more opportunity to create all sorts of things. One thing you're taught when you become a comic is that you can't just focus on stand-up comedy. You have to be writing different things. You have to be creating different things. If your sole income is just stand-up comedy, it's very, very difficult to survive. And so a lot of the top comics, like Irwin and like Bruce, they were writing and doing different things, and that's what you're taught. If you put all your eggs in one basket, the basket just becomes too heavy. Mm-hmm.
Well, you yourself have done several movie roles along the way and some TV and that kind of thing. Do you like being able to kind of jump around and not just focus on the stand-up comedy, as you said?
I do. I think that stand-up can become such a grind. There have been many parts of my life when all I do is I do stand-up every week, and you're in a different city every weekend, and it's just a grind. I would find that the first night in a town, I would be excited to be there. My show would go great, and I'll wake up the next day in that city, and I'll be depressed. Like, why am I here? What am I doing in Red Deer? And so getting a chance to do movies and TV show and just spread your wings in different arenas, different mediums is a treat. It keeps everything fresh. And then when you go back to stand-up, you're happy to go back to stand-up. But you also make a lot of money in film and television, mm-hmm. and you don't make very much money in stand-up until you hit a certain level, where you get the door when everyone's coming to see you, and specifically you, and not Yuck Yucks or whatever it is. So it keeps everything exciting.
Speaking of exciting, I've seen your stand-up live. Last year you were here at the Comedy Festival. You did, amongst other shows, you did the Dark and Stormy show where you really got to kind of go all out, uncensored. Yeah. Do you like being able to do that kind of comedy where you don't have to necessarily be censoring yourself or stopping yourself and be able to just kind of go all out and do all the material you want to do?
Definitely. I like to have an edge in my comedy because that's the comedy I enjoy. The very best comics, like Irwin Barker, he was able to be on that edge without being vulgar. But then when he became vulgar, it was hysterical. That edge is what's exciting. It's always excited me. The edge where the audience is afraid about what you're talking about. And then you build that tension. Mm-hmm. When tension's built, and then you hit them with a punchline, there's an explosion. And that's the most exciting stand-up to me, is when you're afraid. You're like, oh no, what are you going to say? Oh no. And you're feeling that when you're watching the comic go to these dark topics. You're like, oh, please don't say that. And that's exciting. That keeps you on the edge of your seat. The general or generic comedy, I don't enjoy observational comedy. I have respect for it, but the idea, so many people love comedy. They like seeing a joke where they're like, oh, I thought of that, but I've never said it out loud. I've thought of that. And I don't like that kind of comedy. Mm-hmm. I like comedy where I'm like, holy shit, that is so f***ed up. I've never thought anything like that. Oh my God, what's going on? That's the kind of comedy I like. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Makes my heart beat faster. So doing the Dark and Stormy and the dirty shows is a lot of fun. The one thing is that when you go into that show, you're expecting craziness. It's really fun to do those kind of dark, stormy bits to a crowd that's not expecting.
Yeah.
a crowd of 40 to 50-year-olds, that they don't want the horrifying comedy, and then you give it to them. That's the most fun.
Finally, for anyone watching this that isn't in Winnipeg, because a lot of our visitors, of course, aren't from this small prairie burg, where can they check you out coming up next?
Coming up next, well, I just moved back to Vancouver, so doing a lot of work in Vancouver. What are my next shows? In May, from May 12th to 26th, I'll be in Alberta. Beat the Calgary Yuck Yucks that first week. Then I have a Thursday gig in Airdrie, Alberta, climbing the ladder. And then Edmonton, and then Red Deer. Shouldn't have dissed Red Deer a few minutes ago. That's May. And then in June, I forget my schedule. I know in July, I'm in Ottawa. Yeah, I'll be, this is my life. I'll be all over the country. I'll be in a comedy club near you soon.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us today.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
ShowbizMonkeys.com